of salt water fell from the net. Several small, skinny fish wiggled as they struggled for life against the bottom of their long-handled trap. Zeke muttered aloud, "Sweet!" Zeke pivoted on the rock until the long-handled net hovered above one of the large coolers. With a well-rehearsed flipping motion, 8 shimmering hooligan, each only about 8 inches in length, were deposited into the cooler. The dip net fisherman turned back to the water, submerged his net, and pushed his arm and back muscles hard as he made another pass. After close to 15 minutes, Zeke Mellon had only half-filled one of the coolers. The hooligan, which were sometimes called candlefish, were spawning, but it was still a little early in the season. Harvest numbers could be low. He had already noticed the tide change and knew that as the current from the lagoon gained speed, dip netting would become quite difficult. In addition, the little fish became less apt to make their spawning journey into the lagoon as the water current increased. The hooligan typically pooled up in the cove, waiting for the high slack tide to embark into their journey upstream, but quickly became discouraged when the water flow turned to rushing rapids. Zeke decided on one more pass with the net. The water in front of him swirled as the flow seemed to change by the second. Foam drifted by as it exited the lagoon. The fisherman extended the handle and again plunged the net. Knowing that this was his last round of the day, he pushed the net deep, causing his back and arm muscles to burn. As he turned the handle, directing the mesh toward the surface, it seemed to pull back on him, wanting to stay in the deepest part of the channel. He worked his leverage on the long pole and pushed up hard with his left arm and pulled the handle end down hard with his right. There was one certainty this time. The net was heavy. Fighting current, friction, weight of the catch, and tired muscles, Zeke began to worry about his ability to lift the net from the water. Motivated by the prospect of a net full of fish, he wasn't about to give up. He quickly devised a plan to retrieve the haul. Zeke slid the pole behind him, one arm length at a time. With the net still submerged, he feared that his catch might escape as he pulled the pole in toward shore, but the heavy weight never seemed to lighten up. Lifting the net from the water was going to be a challenge. Sensing that the net was nearing the edge, Zeke Mellon stepped back off the rock. He pulled hard as he dragged the net out of the water and onto shore. As expected, there were several skinny fish wiggling inside the snare, but there seemed to be something else in there. Zeke walked over and stood above the net. He lifted the hoop off the ground and stared directly down into the pouch. At first glance, there didn't appear to be enough fish to have caused such a heavy retrieval. Among the silver hooligan, he discovered the item that had weighed down his catch. Disbelief quickly turned into shock, followed by horror. Zeke Mellon stared straight down at a severed human foot. Chapter 1. It was Mother's Day. Jim Wekle knew his duty. He picked up the cell phone from the desktop in his office and punched in the contact number. He leaned back in his armchair while it rang.
"It's about time, Jimmy. I thought you forgot about me."
Jim silently rolled his eyes. "Happy Mother's Day, Mom." Filled with self-importance, the voice on the other end of the line said,
"What took you so long to call, dear?"
"It's only noon, Mom."
"Well, it's 1 o'clock here, and that's too late to wish your mother a happy Mother's Day."
Jim wasn't in the mood, so he quickly changed the subject. "What's the weather like today?"
"What's the weather like every day? It's San Diego, Jimmy. It's perfect."
"And how's Dad?"
"The same. Obsessed with weed killer and television remotes. Won't even take me out to a Mother's Day brunch."
Jim replied in his best Boy Scout voice. "Well, too bad I'm not there. I would love to take you out for brunch."
"You'll have your chance soon enough, Jimmy. I'm coming up for a surprise inspection."
Mrs. Wekle's voice lacked enthusiasm, resembling the curtness of an army colonel. Jim sat up at the unexpected announcement.